You're watching ABC7 News at 5:30.
Welcome back. This Sunday, a local nonprofit is hosting a fundraiser to send grieving parents on an all-expense-paid retreat to Costa Rica.
That group, called Waves of Hope, launched last year after a Sarasota woman lost 2 loved ones to suicide. ABC7's Taylor Toragano is live at the Mandeville Beer Garden, where that fundraiser will be held this weekend. Taylor.
Jacqueline Scott, this story has a message that we can all learn from. We all have our different ways of dealing with the sadness, hurt, and grief that life so inevitably brings. But like the founder of Waves of Hope says, there's always a lighthouse shining in the fog. You just have to be willing to see it.
My son was murdered March 29, 2006.
In Spokane, Washington, Peter Michael Joseph was just 19 years old.
Spokane Valley Police arrested Kevin Stevens on Friday for suspicion of first-degree murder.
It was a brutal murder. I mean, they come up behind Peter with a bat, put a bag over his head. They duct taped the bag on. They duct taped his feet, his hands, put him in a tarp, and hid his body in the basement.
For 5.5 weeks, no one could find him.
Police believe the victim is 19-year-old Peter Joseph.
That guy that was in the basement had lived here before. I seen him here.
And they found his body April 28th. I'm in this house looking for him when he was in the basement. I'm here to you to open in that door. I would have found him. I wouldn't be here today if I had found him.
She wouldn't be here today without Peter's voice.
Yo, get up and live. Get out of that dark room. Get out of your head.
And the path to the place Maria's in now was led by Waves of Hope.
It was the best thing that's happened to me in the 12.5 years I've lost Peter. It helped me put myself in a place I never knew existed in life. She's my angel.
Waves of Hope is a retreat that was started for parents that have lost their children. It was started in memory of 2 very special dear girls to us, Holly and Lupe. We lost them to suicide, unfortunately, about 9 months apart from each other.
Yvonne watched her best friend, the mother of Lupe, struggle with overwhelming grief and decided she would start raising money to send her friend on a healing retreat to Costa Rica.
And I did the first fundraiser, and it went amazingly well. There was so much love and so much just beautiful energy and community that came out to support us. And now, fast forward a year later, we're part of a 501c3. We now also work with veterans, Gold Star parents that have lost their children, and we're hopefully going to be doing this on a very, very regular basis.
Waves of Hope raised enough money to send 7 people to Costa Rica, including Maria, who has refound her life after death.
Live, love, laugh, hope, smile. Today, I no longer feel like the victim.
Now, the fundraiser is more of a party that's coming this Sunday here at the Mandeville Beer Garden with a raffle, live music, and much more. So if you would like to learn more information about this event or Waves of Hope, I put a link on our website. Just visit mysuncoast.com. I'm reporting live outside of Mandeville Beer Garden. Taylor Toragano, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Taylor, thank you. Some residents in Venice are calling for change on Center Road, where 4 bike riders were hit by a car last week. That accident happened at the intersection of Center Road and Rockley Boulevard last Tuesday. As of yesterday, one of the 4 cyclists was released from the hospital, while one is in fair condition and the other 2 are still in critical condition. Residents of 6 Venice communities and members of the Coastal Cruiser Bicycle Club want to reduce speed limits from 45 to 35 miles per hour and have a traffic light installed at that intersection where the cyclists were hit. They plan to attend a county commission meeting on Wednesday to voice their concerns.
All right, let's get back to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. We're having to use the AC again this week after at least one day where we could shut it off. Here's Bob with more.
Yeah, open the windows, then close them real quick and turn the air on. That's what we had over the weekend. A real quick turnaround, too, as a result of a warm front that is now moving back northward. That warm air is right over much of the peninsula of Florida right now as the front is to the north. It's muggy too. We have this southeast wind, and that's bringing that humidity back up, and that is causing temperatures to actually feel a little bit warmer out there as far as that goes. Now that wind will stay basically out of the south throughout the day tomorrow. There may be a little southwesterly turn late in the day as we start to see that sea breeze develop, but all this moisture you see here is going to stay well to our north. It's not going to drop down here. It's going to continue actually to move in a northerly direction as far as that front goes. Currently, we do have 79 degrees. We have a few clouds out there. We did have a little brief shower at the airport about an hour ago. Humidity remains pretty high at 79%. The barometer 30.01 inches. Now, as far as the overall forecast goes, you can see they've had some nasty weather over the northeast over the weekend. That is now clearing. Another storm is developing over the central plain states. It's going to sweep another front close to us, another cold front, but this one is not going to blow on through. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Americans are making sure their voices are heard. Millions have already cast early voting ballots, and polls will open early tomorrow morning on Election Day. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest on what's shaping up to be one of the most hotly contested midterms in history.
A final push before voters head to the polls. And across the country and across the aisle, much of the message today is so similar. From Republicans in Missouri
going to determine the future direction of this country, and the stakes could not be higher.
To Democrats in Texas, echoes about what could turn out to be one of the most consequential midterm elections in history.
We're going to help this country lead on the challenges before us.
We hope to see a blue wave tomorrow night in Virginia and elsewhere.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine remaining optimistic at his campaign headquarters, where former President Obama made a surprise appearance.
The character of this country is on the ballot. Who we are is on the ballot.
The midterms are often seen as a referendum on the president, with the president's party often losing seats in Congress. But that's not stopping President Trump from being optimistic about a favorable turnout for Republicans, as he's been blitzing across the country for candidates on the campaign trail again today in Indiana, Missouri, and Ohio.
Democrats are inviting caravan after caravan, isn't that nice, of illegal aliens to flood into our country.
Still stoking fears of immigrants to rouse his Republican base, even as Facebook is now rejecting a Trump ad that's been called racist. The tech company saying it violates Facebook policy.
A lot of things are offensive. Your questions are offensive a lot of times.
We knew these midterm elections would be high stakes and highly consequential, and that's already being reflected in those early voting numbers. About 34 million Americans already casting ballots even before polls open tomorrow. Janae Norman, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Florida Republican gubernatorial candidate Ron DeSantis made a stop in Jacksonville this morning. He was joined by Senator Marco Rubio, who won re-election in Duval County by nearly 60,000 votes over Democrat Patrick Murphy in 2016.
And on that day, when those numbers started coming in, we'd never seen anything like it. Forget about a blue wave, a red wave of votes started coming in, and it proved all the pundits wrong in 2016. That's what's going to happen again now. But we have to make sure it happens.
Democratic gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum visiting Parker Elementary School in Bay County this morning to greet students. Today marks the first day back to school for more than a dozen Bay District schools following last month's Hurricane Michael.
I'm here the day before Election Day because I want this community to know that they're not going to be forgotten. That the recovery effort will likely, without a doubt, go over into the next administration. And it's important to have a sense of how these communities are being impacted and what we can do to make sure that these areas are back to 100% in no time.
Gillum also had scheduled stops at Panama City Marina, a church there, and the Sunrise Worship Center in Mariana.
There are 12 proposed amendments on the general election ballot this year. ABC7's Erica Jackson tells us what you need to know before putting your pen to paper.
There are 12 proposed amendments on the general election ballot since one was knocked off by the Florida Supreme Court. You will notice that some of the amendments are bundled, covering two related issues. Now here's what you need to know before putting your pen to paper. Amendments 1 and 2 deal with property taxes. 3 and 4 are citizens' initiatives and are seeing the most attention. 3 is a gambling amendment, and number 4 would restore voting rights to felons. Number 5 would require 2/3 of support from the Florida House and Senate to approve a tax. 6 is one of the bundled amendments, giving constitutional rights to victims of crimes and raises the mandatory retirement age for judges. Amendment 7 is another bundle, giving the state benefits to first responders and military members who die in the line of duty. The second part requires supermajority approval for college tuition increases. Amendment 8 was taken off the ballot. 9 would put a ban on oil drilling in the state waters and ban vaping indoors. Amendment 10 covers many administrative changes and would have a larger impact on counties on the East Coast. Number 11 is a house cleaning amendment. Number 12 is an ethics package, and number 13 would ban dog racing, which could impact us locally since we have a dog racing track here in Sarasota. We spoke with one political science professor who told us this amendment wouldn't have a major financial impact on the Sarasota Kennel Club.
When you see that parking lot full, often most of the folks that are going in there are going in there for the card rooms. What this would do would be to sever an existing requirement that in order to have card rooms you have to run dogs. That's something interesting that a lot of people don't know, is that the card rooms are where the money is made for a lot of these pari-mutuel facilities, and right now they're not allowed to have the card room unless they run the dogs. This would sever that. The dogs would go away, but the card rooms would remain.
Now, we have a full breakdown on all of the amendments on the ballot on our website, mysuncoast.com. Reporting in the studio, I'm Erica Jackson. Back to you.
All right, Erica, thank you. And a reminder, the polls are open at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
That's right. Still to come in your Suncoast News, new advice for parents when it comes to punishing your children.
And some new additions to Southwest Airlines just in time for the holiday travel season. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station. You like to pay less. That's why you made Honda Accord the best-selling mid-size car in America. Get the redesigned Accord, the North American Car of the Year, or Civic, a KBP.com Best Buy for less than the competition. Like SUVs and trucks? Get Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, CRV, the 8-passenger Pilot, or Ridgeline truck for up to $4,240 less today at your local Honda dealer.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
We get it, you're busy. But what about those moments when life slows down? It only takes a minute to get election ready. Check your voter registration status. Make sure your signature is up to date. Review your sample ballot. Know your election dates and voting options. So take a moment. Be election ready.
I'm Secretary of State Ken Detzner. Get ready, get set, vote.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
Parents disciplining their children should avoid spanking, according to a new policy statement from the American Academy of Pediatrics. ABC's Stephanie Ramos tells us why experts say it doesn't work.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has new advice. Even if your parents did it to you, don't use corporal punishment when your child is acting out. And they have reasons. One is, it doesn't work. They point to studies that show punishment in the form of spanking or slapping doesn't work to change behavior. The effects only last about 10 minutes. Researchers say then children resume the same behavior that you wanted to change. Not only that, repeated use of corporal punishment can lead to aggressive behavior and negative parent-child relationships. So when your child pulls a prank, researchers say, think twice before you spank them. With this Medical Minute, I'm Stephanie Ramos.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, Lakewood Ranch webcam showing some clouds around today. Some sunshine intermixed allowed the temperatures to warm above average, and they're hoping for good weather Friday as Manatee Meals on Wheels Plus will be having their empty bowls out there. Renaissance on the day before on Thursday, and again, looks like it's going to be okay weather-wise. We have this frontal boundary now to the north of us. It's going to be working its way northward, continuing, and then it will eventually fade away tomorrow. But we're going to stay in that warm sector, and warm temperatures are going to be the rule, I think, throughout the entire work week. Another front gets close to us by the weekend. As far as the showers go, they're pretty light right now from Daytona Beach, stretching off into the Gulf of Mexico. Heavier weather expected, though, over parts of Mississippi and Louisiana tonight, as a developing storm system will bring the possibility of tornadoes there. We had a few brief showers around. You saw what happened is that sea breeze came in. There it is, and there it goes. And every once in a while, it kicked off a brief shower or two, and that's what we saw earlier in just a few isolated areas. Most areas have stayed dry today, and I think it'll stay that way through the night. This area of low pressure, which is developing now over the central U.S., has prompted the National Severe Forecast Center to issue a tornado watch box for that particular area, as I mentioned, Louisiana and parts of Mississippi. For us, a pretty quiet night, albeit warm. Temperatures will be dropping down into the low to mid 70s by 11 o'clock tonight. And as far as the temperatures go currently, we're in the upper 70s, feels like into the low 80s right now in Sarasota, 85 in Orlando, and temperatures are a little bit on the warmer side. Now, as far as that front goes, that's going to bring the rough weather across the lower Mississippi Valley. You see it thinning out as it heads off to the south and east. Eventually, it pulls up stationary to our north, so it's not going to blow through and cool us down anytime soon. But eventually, we are going to see a stronger front next week, which will cool us down. We're looking for partly cloudy skies, maybe some fog forming too in the morning hours due to the high dew point temperature and the fact that temperatures are expected to stay above average. As far as those winds go, the forecast winds will be out of the southeast. Tomorrow there'll be a little sea breeze trying to develop in the afternoon hours. It won't have much success. It'll be rather light too as far as that goes, but we need that northerly wind to cool us off, and that's something we're not seeing at all throughout this work week, as winds will be generally out of the east-southeast and then a little west breeze developing in the afternoon. So we have 79, and yes, indeed, the sun has set, and so it's a little bit different, right? The humidity at 79%, barometer 30.01 inches. As far as the high goes today, it did warm up into the mid-80s, 84 our normal high at 81 degrees. And the National Satellite and Radar Review showing some pretty big storms now moving through Indiana, Illinois, and then eventually off into Ohio tonight with the severe weather hanging down to the south. For boaters, it'll be pretty light going out there. Seas running 2 feet or less, and that'll stay that way on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Winds and seas could pick up a little bit over the weekend, but we're not expecting a big wind from this next system, which is due to arrive on Saturday. You'll see that in the forecast. So looks good for voting today. Get out, or tomorrow, get out and vote on Tuesday, and we'll see partly cloudy skies throughout this week. Temperatures staying warm, and then by the weekend, a weak frontal system comes down. It eventually cools us off to near seasonal averages on Monday, but then some colder weather to follow after that. Jacqueline?
All right, thank you, Bob. In First Alert traffic, we are seeing a crash on Cape Vista Drive at Cortez Road in Bradenton. That is causing some backups as you head between 34th Street West and 51st Street West as well. Scott?
In the wake of its bankruptcy filing, Sears is hoping to sell its home improvement division to Service.com. Sears Home Services formerly offered cleaning and handyman services, and Service.com helps homeowners find contractors. Sears is in talks to sell its home improvement business to the company for $60 million. If no higher or better offers are received, the deal is likely to close by the end of the year.
The world's largest convenience store is trying to be more convenient. 7-Eleven will test a self-checkout feature at 14 stores in Dallas starting on Wednesday. The scan and pay option through the 7-Eleven mobile app allows customers to ring up Slurpees and snacks right on their smartphones without having to wait in line. 7-Eleven plans to expand scan and pay to more U.S. stores next year.
Here's some good news for your holiday travel. Southwest Airlines is adding free in-flight entertainment just in time for the holidays. The majority of Southwest travelers can already start enjoying more than 30 free movies on Wi-Fi enabled aircraft on the in-flight entertainment portal. Last month, the airline rolled out free messaging on select flights, and then in May, it partnered with iHeartRadio to offer free digital music streaming for passengers. Southwest also announced it's adding some new flights in New York, Washington, and California.
Well, stay with us. Entertainment news is coming up next.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
2 months after rapper Mac Miller's shocking death, his cause of death has now been revealed.
The medical examiner's office announced today that Malcolm McCormick died from consuming multiple drugs at once, including fentanyl, cocaine, and ethanol. On September 7th, authorities were called to the artist's home in Studio City, California. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The manner of death was certified as an accident. Well, are you ready to spice up your life once again? The Spice Girls are reuniting. They announced a reunion tour on social media today. 4 of the original members, Baby Spice, Ginger Spice, Sporty Spice, and Scary Spice, will be together on stage again. Posh Spice Victoria Beckham will not be a part of the reunion. The Spice World UK tour kicks off June of 2019, and tickets will go on sale Saturday.
Well, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is teaming up with disabled American veterans to bring you victories for Veterans Week. Each contestant served in one of the U.S. Armed Forces. ABC's Sandy Kenyon tells us how the game show is giving back.
Chris Harrison and his game show have found a great way to say thank you for your service by asking veterans, who wants to be a millionaire?
To be able to give back for an entire week is a pretty special thing. You know, we do some cool stuff here at Millionaire. To me, that is probably the most important and impactful week we have.
We caught up with Chris and the entire team in Las Vegas for a week's worth of tapings featuring those who have served in the U.S. military.
This is kind of a long walk for these contestants.
It is. I mean, you're walking into the arena. And, you know, if you grew up watching this, if you've ever seen the show, it's pretty iconic.
Adding to the tension, the audience is just a few yards away. Eileen Lanzarone, who grew up in Park Slope, told me it's much harder to play here than at home.
I couldn't sleep last night, but I wasn't like shaky nervous until they said it's time to go on, and then I was like, ugh.
But the host has an ability to put every contestant at ease.
I felt a little bit like I was just talking to him and not the rest of the world when we were doing it, so he made it really easy.
I guess I have that compassionate look or feel that they're put at ease. Maybe my kids would argue that I don't have that, but I'm here for them.
The show is celebrating a milestone this month. The syndicated game has given away a total of $100 million in its 17-year history. And this week, the winners are all veterans.
Have a good day, giving away money.
Reporting from Las Vegas, I'm Sandy Kenyon, ABC News.
Now, for each contestant who reaches the $100,000 question, the show will donate $5,000 to Disabled American Veterans, a nonprofit charity.
Well, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire airs today and every weekday right here on ABC7 at 4:30. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more news and weather.